player-unknown battlegrounds have become very popular recently because of its great action and immersive gameplay. But why am I talking about PUBG? Because you can play the same game in CSO2 for free! I find it kind of amusing because I'm comparing a standalone game with a game mode in CSGO2, but what I noticed is that both are very similar to one another. PUBG costs $30 on Steam, so there's the cost barrier to actually play the game, but in Counter-Strike Online 2, the Zombie City or Z-City mode is free because CSGO2 is basically free. Let's go through the brief objectives of both games first. PUBG is straightforward. A room supports up to 100 players on a 5x5 mile in map size. There's a warm-up period before the game actually begins. Once the warm-up ends, players are to parachute from a plane and land randomly on any spots of the map. One is allowed to play in either first-person or third-person mode, which I find the third-person a little handicapped because you could always pan the camera to view more than you could actually do in first person.
I should have known I was around here.
Meanwhile, Z-City supports up to 32 players on a much smaller scale map, which is not specified by the game's developer Nexon. Still, it's pretty large enough for such a way smaller player count. Like PUBG, the game begins after the warm-up ends. Instead of parachuting, players spawn in teams of 2, with the unlucky one being alone if there's an odd number of players. And it's all in first person mode. Speaking of teams, PUBG has the option of going solo, teams of 2 and teams of 4, while CSGO2 only has solo and teams of 2. Both games allow players to kill one another regardless of their standing, so friendly fire happens on both games. It's always better to play with friends because you never know if your teammate just suddenly turns against you. While PUBG is currently humans versus humans, Z-City has zombies thrown in, which ups the challenge by a certain scale. Killing them often reveals your position to other players and they can infect you to become a zombie if you're not careful. It's quite frustrating when you're trying to hide or scavenge loots and these creatures just follow you everywhere, even getting in the way of battles at times. Just like how I died from this fella. And this one that decides to drop by at 60 miles per hour. Oh hi! However, PUBG plans to add zombies in the near future, so it will be interesting to see how these players handle them. I've watched DayZ videos and the zombies are usually way fewer than in Z-City, so if that would happen, that wouldn't be too, annoying to deal with. Since Battle Royale is a fast-paced game, both PUBG and Z-City have the safe zone gradually reducing in size, and players getting trapped outside of it would slowly lose health until they die. In addition, there's also a red bombing zone to take note of. Unlike PUBG, which happens only during the day, Z-City revolves around the day and night cycle, and the safe zone quickly contracts as the day passes and pauses during certain moments. And Z-City doesn't have any bombing, just the safe zone reducing, but I still find the random zombies pretty annoying over random airstrikes anytime. In terms of loot, PUBG only provides weapons, armors, and weapon equipment such as silencers and scopes scattered around the map. There are supply crates that drop from the sky which hold better loots, but they emit red smokes and are often accessible by survivors roaming nearby. It's gonna be good when everyone starts shooting at one another or even carrying the crates away, just like this guy right here. Z-City meanwhile is slightly more complicated. Weapons, armor, cash and power-ups are available in boxes and from dead players. There's no level 1, 2 or 3 armor like in PUBG, so armor is basically armor here. Also, there are gun shops which you could purchase weapons from during the daytime, but there's only 2 or 3 with one located in the city itself. And regarding the power-ups, there are buffs that give players huge advantages. Some of them are quite overpowered, such as wall hacks and health regeneration, but if you manage to kill a player who has these, you get to keep them. I do have a gripe over these things though, when they can see you but you can't. Vehicles wise, both games have them, but in terms of handling, PUBG is much better and more players are able to hitch rides. CSGO2 vehicles are laughable because who will drive taxis in the desert and police cars? I don't blame Nexon because they are extracted from another game mode, but seriously, there ain't sheriffs here. Not to mention, those cars are pretty noisy, so you could even hear them from a mile away, and to make things worse, the police cars have extremely loud sirens that go. Every time I drive these things, I just want to jump out as soon as possible to avoid getting spotted. So there you have it, the comparison between PUBG and PUBG-like game mode in CSO2. If you're not willing to spend money like me, then Z-City is a free choice, but Counter-Strike Online 2 servers are only located in Korea, China and Taiwan and Japan for now, so expect some latency hikes there. However, for the solid survival experience, PUBG is still miles better, and you get drops which could be sold for Steam Cash. That's all for now, and enjoy your weekend!